All right. Oh, shoot. There we go. All right. Let's go with this. One. Let's do test and see how the sound is working on here. Test and see. All right. Cool. We're good. We're good. All right. Um. There we go. So I got my YouTube chat working up on the side. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Discord, make sure that that is um, all up and running as well. Oh, no, it doesn't really matter. I can hold on. There we go. My roommate was he was working on homework and he stepped out for a bit. He can come in whenever, but uh, I still have to get everything set up. I just connected into the Discord, which by the way, if you guys want to join into the Discord, feel free. I have the link in the description. I'm hanging out. Sorry, my voice has been whack. I'm hanging out in the audio visual communications channel. That's literally what it's called in the Hypertext Hangout Discord. So if you would like to talk with me as I stream, feel free. I also have to go. Oh, let me see. Shoot, I forgot to send out the announcement. Let me see. But this stream is going to be fun, I think. There's going to be a lot of material here um, that I can clip and make a different clip. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so we got the announcement up on the Discord now. So I think let's see. Should I be I think I've done everything I need to do as far as going ahead and getting ready to start things off. Okay. So, unlike most of my streams, by the way, if you're new to my channel or my or like these sorts of streams, I typically will stream, some Minecraft gameplay. I'll talk a little bit here and there, but I don't talk like a lot about too many political things. But I figured it'd be fun to go over some news, go over some big things that are happening, and part of it too is just there's the race in Virginia that I'm really interested in. So we'll be talking about that on this stream. This is kind of an experimental stream. We'll see if this is a format that people enjoy, and if this is something that I enjoy making enough to continue doing. Which, if that is the case, then that's something I'm going to do. Because I stream in part because it's something I like doing. I'm not going to be doing something that everybody likes if it's making me feel lousy or if I don't care about it at all. I just feel like that would not be a smart decision, especially since I'm doing this for free. So let's see here. I know that we have the Georgia race, or not the Georgia race. I don't know why I said Georgia. I know that we have the whole election in Virginia. But first, I came across this video, and I thought it'd be really interesting to react to it. Now, a prof had shown me this. She had played it in part of a presentation during class, and just the take was so, I don't know. It was a unique take. It reminded me of why I do not watch this man, even though I'm a conservative. I just don't watch a lot of Tucker Carlson, and I think takes like this is why. Let's here. I'm gonna play some of this.
You gotta
And
wonder
actually, hold on. I should probably turn it down just so that's not too loud. If you guys like, oh, I can't hear, or whatever, just go watch the YouTube video or something. Here.
You got to wonder how many hours we spent on the show attacking the Communist Party of China. A lot. It's a totalitarian government. Our leaders admire it.
Totalitarianism, by the way, is bad. I'll say that.
It still is our position, probably always will be. On the other
Just
hand,
putting
we
that
want
out
to be
there.
as honest as possible about things we see. So when the Chinese government does something virtuous, doesn't happen much, but we're willing to say so.
Like moving towards
Here's what they've
capitalism,
done.
right?
China's announced it will limit private equity firms from raising money to buy residential properties in China. Why is that? Because Chinese citizens, turns out, need somewhere to live.
Sorry, I missed that last part. I gotta go back.
Bubbles are bad for.
Hold on.
Turns out, need somewhere to live. Because Chinese citizens, turns out, need somewhere to live.
No, shoot. My bad. I gotta hold on. Let me rewind. I want to make sure I catch everything.
China. Why is that? Because Chinese
Raising residential
citizens,
property.
turns out, need somewhere to live.
Hold on. Did he not say that totalitarianism is bad? Because
will be. On the other hand, we want to be as honest as possible about things we see. So when the Chinese government does something virtuous, doesn't happen much, but we're willing to say
yeah, so we said totalitarianism is bad.
Here's what they've done. China's announced it will limit private equity firms from raising money to buy residential properties in China. Why is
Isn't that a little bit totalitarianism or totalitarian? Like to be like you can't raise such and such amount of money to like buy these properties. Like you would think that the most like freedom-loving capitalistic guy would be like, yeah, people just be able to raise whatever money they want, spend it however they want. That's capitalism. Moves like this put you towards totalitarianism. So interesting.
Is that? Because Chinese citizens, turns out, need somewhere to live. Real estate bubbles are bad for everybody except, of course, for a small number of real estate speculators. As the Chinese government put it, houses are for living in, not for speculation. And that's a very good point. They may have learned it from watching, say, the state of California. In California, the average home is now over $800,000, in part thanks to speculation, and homelessness is totally out of control.
Okay, but I really, so if the U.S. government was like, okay, you know, we're gonna have like a cap on the price of housing, for example, or you know, you can't raise money anymore in order to, you know, or buy houses, or you can't like flip houses. Like, I don't think that property values rising alone is a bad thing. One thing you have to consider about California, and I will say this, sorry, it does kind of make sense that the cost of living is so high because everything, well, maybe not everything, but a lot of things balance out. In places where the cost of living is high, you know, the revenue tends to be fairly high. Homelessness is a thing. I think that, you know, the biggest problem really plaguing California is unemployment, not the cost of living. Because look, if you have a job in California, I feel like you probably would be able to survive. Now, it's going to be harder than a lot of other places, but at the same time, it's doable because I feel like it's doable because people are doing it. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't entirely make sense to say that, you know, the values of houses are inherently a bad thing when, you know, as long as you can make enough money to counteract that. Now, some people can't do that. I think that's the problem, you know. You have to find ways to get people to be able to earn enough money to survive, not try and lower the cost of things that are necessary for people to survive. Because if you do that, then what you're going to have is a decrease in the quality of the goods, and nobody wants that.
Chinese don't want to copy
Sorry
that
for rambling.
Nor do they want a California-style popular culture, one that worships celebrity over achievement. Obsessing over sleazy famous people on social media, Chinese officials announced that is, quote, poisoning the minds of the country's youth. Can they stop the youth from worshiping celebrities? Probably not.
It's also
but
fair.
At least they're worried about it, and that's a start. They're also, by the way,
start to what?
Video.
What does he want them to do? Ban celebrities? I don't know. It's whack.
Online
Stupid.
Gaming for children in China will now be limited
candy
to
corn is dope.
3 hours a week.
Eat candy
on
corn.
Weekends. This is being
Okay, here's what's whack.
Says,
right
quote,
here.
To prevent the addiction to online games. Is that a crazy idea?
Yes. Yes. This is a crazy idea. I don't know. I don't know how you could be like a freedom loving. Well, I'll just let him speak for a little bit more.
Well, according to a recent study in this country, the average American kid plays video games for more than 15 hours a week. A poll from the University of Michigan found that 86% of parents believe their children spent too much time playing video games. Apparently, the other 14% weren't paying attention. So it's a legitimate
They're
problem.
probably just not boomers.
What's interesting is, when was the last time you heard one of our political leaders even mention video games or housing market speculation or celebrity worship as a problem? Now, before you respond by saying that politicians shouldn't be involved in our personal lives, remember that the CDC already very much is involved in our personal lives.
Okay, but hold on. Here's the thing. Conservatives have time and time again been against giving organizations like the CDC that level of control. You know, so to say, well, the CDC is already doing it is not, it's not a good or genuine argument. Because essentially what you're saying is, well, because since they're doing it, it's fine if we do it. No, that's not how it works. You don't use, and this is, you know, why I don't like people like Ron DeSantis. Using big government to fight big government just leads to bigger governments who, you know, when you're gone, people that you don't agree with ideologically, they're going to be in power and then use the very power that you made to counteract your rules. And, you know, it's just a very, very dumb and short-sighted move to be like, hey, we think that people are gaming too much. You know, for example, so let's limit how much video gaming that they can do. You know, like, how much power that would give the government? Imagine if that happened in America, right? Because then let's say that you get some socialist or whatever, like, president, and they're like, oh, I think people are watching Fox News too much. I think people have Fox News addiction, watching 15 hours of Fox News every day. We need to limit Fox News viewing to 3 hours a week. It's kind of a slippery slope, but if you wanted to implement the same thing in China, it's not that difficult to see how easily that could turn against conservatives and turn into other things, not just gaming. Granted, I'm a small government guy. I'm not a big government guy. I'm not a fan of the government sticking their grimy, dirty, oil and blood-soaked hands into our personal lives and being like, hey, you know, you are dumb and don't know how to take care of yourself. I am Big Daddy government. Not a fan of that.
So maybe our government could take just a moment from bossing us around to improve our actual lives once in a while.
Say moment from bossing us around because you're literally arguing for the government to boss us around.
Just go ahead and try. Even if you fail, it will be an improvement. At least you'll know you noticed.
No. Maybe short term. Until the government says you can't watch Fox News anymore for more than like 3 hours a week. And maybe that's a really dumb argument. Maybe it's a slippery slope. Maybe nothing like that would ever happen. But really, we should not be, and I say we because I'm on the right side of the aisle, we should not be arguing for these sorts of policies at all. Really ridiculous. He's the only conservative I've seen praise the Chinese government for limiting, maybe, is he being facetious? I hope he's being facetious. I don't know anybody who thinks that it's a good idea to limit gaming from a governmental level. I just don't understand. That's interesting. Well, let's see. In other, let me see. There we go. In other news, we have a new Minecraft update. Now, I did not talk about this yet. I know there was an event, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm watching this with you guys for the first time ever. This should be interesting. Table Clips Part 2. I don't know if there's big talking or is this just NCIS music. Okay. That's cool. That's actually really cool. I wonder if those mobs are going to be something that we'll be able to share with each other, I guess. Like, let's say you have like a realm Like we have a realm, like it's basically an SMP. Be cool if we could share those with each other. I don't care about dungeons. Sorry, Andrew, I just don't. Some content sold separately. Interesting. The Wild update. People in the Discord have really been hyping that up. Frogs. That looks nice. Wait a minute. We've had lily pads all this time. We haven't had frogs. I just realized that. That doesn't make any sense. Ooh. Why does that look like wool though? Wait, what was that? Why did they show that? I'm confused. We have mud blocks, okay. But what's this? Just some house. Is it made out of mud blocks? Deep dark. What does that mean? Oh! Is that like a new realm? Oh, wait, what's that? Is that like a new animation for when you... Or is that a different type of sword I've never gotten? Well, that's cool though. So I guess that's like a different type of realm. But with chest, dude. Okay, dude, that's cool. That's epic. I'm a fan of that. Sorry. I was actually thinking that I would be very underwhelmed by that, but there's some things in there that looked really cool. Especially, what was it? The boat with the chest. That seems cool. You know, also the deep dark. I don't know enough about the deep dark. The deep dark sounds like it'd be cool, but I don't know too much about it. It just seems like the Nether for noobs, which I would be a fan of because I feel like that would fit me. But it seems like, yeah, it seems like fun. I don't know how much I'll use a lot of these updates, except maybe the boat with chests. I feel like this is going to be the most practical. My voice is whack today. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. But, yeah, I feel like this is going to be the most practical thing of everything released. So that's cool. But yeah, guys, I'm sorry about my my throat. I have this cold. It's really bad. It's getting better now. But bro, nothing will get rid of your appetite for sweet and sugary soft drinks like getting a cold. All right, well, I figured one thing that'd be fun to do is to go through and just read some articles, some news articles. I don't have too much time. I can't spend too much time on here because I have to go take my sister ice skating. But I figured that until then, I just read some news articles. Let's see. Oh. Polls close in Virginia governor's race at 7 p.m. Stay with Fox News for live results. Now, I'm curious to see. Is this going to take me to the Fox News channel? Or, yeah. I think this is the Fox News channel, right? Yeah, it's all locked. So it's fun that they're like, hey, click here, watch coverage, and it's all locked up. But they all do that. Oh, this is interesting. I'm sorry. Is Fox Weather locked as well? Because it does not have the key. Yeah, I guess it's locked. But interesting choice to not have the key in the logo. It's a little deceptive. Let's see. Youngkin campaign thinks it'll win.
Well,
Virginia race
what I'll take away from it is that
Youngkin campaign thinks it'll win Virginia governor race if it tops Trump in tops Trump numbers in key areas. I wonder why that's. I don't know. It's fair. Loudoun County among key areas. Youngkin campaign will watch after polls close. Loudoun County. I'll say this. I'm from Virginia. I don't Well, I don't know why I'm zooming in. I'm from Virginia. Now, I haven't been following this as closely as I should have been. I was aware of Youngkin before my dad was, because I was watching TV when he was showing his campaign ads earlier, and I was like, this dude is airing some really positive and super vague commercials. That's exactly what will make someone seem like a good president. I wasn't even sure if he was a Republican or not at first. I was just like, "Yo, this just looks like a Unity stock character guy," which is a good thing. You need someone unifying who's not going to be polarizing and talking about a lot of polarizing things all the time. But since the campaign began, I haven't been following it as closely as others, such as my dad has been. But I have been following. There's stuff with CRT going on. People are not really happy with CRT in schools, and Loudoun County is one of the places where people are kind of pushing against that. So, yeah, I could see Youngkin watching Loudoun County for results, seeing how effective, his opposition of CRT has been effective in getting him votes. Let's see. I'm sorry for my voice again. Fox News is told by the Youngkin campaign. Fox News is told the Youngkin campaign believes that if it improves on former President Donald Trump's numbers by 5% in Loudoun County, Fairfax County, Virginia Beach, and Richmond, it will have the votes it needs to win statewide. All of those are largely urban or suburban areas. Okay. Yeah, where Youngkin has tried to woo voters by distancing himself from Trump's style of politics. Trump's style of politics isn't even something... Trump's style of politics is something that's so unique, you don't even have to distance yourself from it. You have to actively try to be similar to it. I feel like. But yeah, that makes sense. These largely urban suburban areas that are densely populated are huge predictors of whether or not someone wins an election in any given state. It's wild, but that's just how it works. It's just how it works. Let's see if there's anything interesting in the rest of this article. Here's something. Northampton County. No, wait, did anything say about? Let's see. Northampton County and Prince Edward County are two bellwether counties to watch. They've each aligned with the statewide winner in the past 10 Virginia gubernatorial elections. So I guess those are the ones to watch when you guys are watching the coverage. I'm not sure what I'll be doing. I think I'll be watching the coverage. I was thinking about streaming coverage, but I think I've realized I'd much rather play Minecraft during that time. So I guess those are the places to watch. As you see the coverage, as you see the results tick in, look for Northampton County, look for Prince Edward County. Those are going to be the states where, you're going to see an indicator of who's going to end up winning tonight, as long as they decide to that the election is over that night. Because, if they're counting votes tomorrow, there's no way Youngkin's going to win. Republicans don't do very well after Election Day. Now, let's see. I noticed as I was putting in these bookmarks that 5:30 had this poll, so I thought it would be nice to take a look at this poll. And yes, it's very similar to what I remember. Youngkin is ahead right now, which is wild, and it's ever increasing the gap between Youngkin and McAulife. Now I heard that NBC News was saying, "Oh, it's virtually tied." I don't know, because it's hard for me to say. Polls are polls, man. They're not gospel truth. So it's hard for me to tell, whether or not. I'm sorry. There you go. It's hard for me to tell how accurate the polls are. I will say this. I don't think the polls, are if they're balanced, are biased, I don't think they're balanced in Youngkin's favor, in my opinion. But even if the polls aren't, they bias the polls or change the polls or whatever, people may vote differently than what they say in the polls. But nonetheless, if you're McAulife, you got to be sweating and already planning a concession speech. Youngkin is very, very optimistic, and I can see why. Let's see, what is this? Are these the latest polls out of Virginia? Let's see, added yesterday. So Targot's market research has McAulife up by 3. Trafalgar Group, I don't know how to say that, man, has Youngkin up by 2. So most of these polls actually have Youngkin up. We have that one that has McAulife up. Now, I don't know what these letters next to the posters mean. Or how to judge whether or not 538 is accurate, because 538 is ESPN's political, publication wing. But yes, okay, so looking at these, I can see why. Ooh, look at this. 2 Fox News polls. One has Youngkin up by 8. And another one has him up by 1. Okay, so yes, virtually tied. Because the thing is, I subscribe to Blaze TV, and they were complaining because they were like, NBC News says it's virtually tied when Youngkin's up by 2. Well, if you're going under the assumption that the polls are biased, which I think is fair, then I can understand that. But at the same time, if you're taking what they're saying at face value, 2% is pretty dang close. There are only 2 more percentage points that you could be closer to each other than 2%. I think that's how math works. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to watch. And I think, as usual with most of these things, when you are, when you're not on the side of the establishment, like I'm not on the side of the establishment, and the guy that you like wins, and the guy that the media does not like wins, it's always interesting to see the reaction. So, let's just say I'll be watching the live streams, more carefully if it ends up being Youngkin who wins. Because, look, I'm confident, right? I feel like Youngkin's going to win. But you never know. 2% is really close. Most people vote on election day. Most people are voting today, which, granted, is not good for McAulife. I went home, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Whenever fall break was. Probably somewhere around, like, this time period. In like, this area here. And I voted for Youngkin. And that's when, look at this. So that would put McAulife at, like, a 3-point spread, thereabouts. And I was like, well, it'll be interesting to see because people vote on election day. Because even then, I think people were saying, oh, things are swinging in Youngkin's favor. They were looking at these like real clear politics things. And I was like, well, yeah, it looks like Youngkin's trending up, which, as you could see, yeah, he's been, kind of trending up since here once we've gotten up to this point. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Youngkin's trending up, but you never know because momentum swings. Momentum doesn't just swing in one direction. That's like not how momentum works. It can go back and forth. I had no idea whether or not Youngkin would do something that would, hurt his campaign, but he seems to be steady. It seems like he's in a stronger position now than he was when we voted. And I was like, this may be the best position that Youngkin is in. But it's not. But I think some people are going to take this a little bit too seriously. I think a lot of people assume that Virginia is a blue state just because we have a Democrat and we've elected Democrats for like over 10 years. We're not a blue state. We're purple still, I think. I think people like forgot that what turned this state blue was the fact that Obama won the state in 2008. But Obama was wildly popular. He's literally a celebrity now. More popular probably than any of the other living presidents right now. I would say maybe even more popular than Trump. Maybe. I don't know. Trump has his fans, and his fans are loud, but he's also widely hated. So I don't know if it'd be fair to say that Trump is more popular than Obama. A lot of people like Obama. Obama's a very likable dude. I don't agree with his politics, but he's a very likable dude, which I don't think is something that you could say about Trump. Regardless of like political perspective. But yeah, things are looking good for Youngkin. If I had to put money on it, which I wouldn't, because it's only 2% spread, I would definitely put money on Youngkin. I would actually put more money on Youngkin than I would if I was voting for any other race that was a lot more secure, purely just because so many people would probably bet McAulife, and that'd be a lot of money. Oh man, the just hearing people, who now I was watching this and I'm like, remember I saw Youngkin ads 3 months ago, didn't know a thing about him, but I was like, this looks like a dude who would have widespread appeal. I wonder what political party he's running for. Folks like that, you always have to watch out for because they're going to have mainstream appeal. And I think Youngkin is proving that. So it'll be interesting to see, will we be calling Youngkin Governor Youngkin soon? I think probably. We'll see. What time is it? Do we have time for one more article? I think we have time for one more article. My nose is just really stuffed up. Now, I think it'd probably be fun to look at The Verge. The Verge is my favorite tech article because I just like the design of the website. I just think it's cool. Let's see. Do they have any interesting headlines though? Because they don't always have interesting. Okay, this one should be kind of interesting. Facebook is shutting down its face recognition tagging program. Interesting. How long is this article? This article isn't too long. I guess I'll read the whole thing. Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is discontinuing. Well, apparently it's still known as Facebook because you're calling it Facebook. You should probably change your title, dudes. Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is discontinuing Facebook's face recognition feature following a lengthy privacy battle. Meta says the change will roll out in the coming weeks. As part of it, the company will stop using facial recognition algorithms to tag people in photographs and videos, and it will delete the facial recognition templates that it uses for identification. Oh, that's weird. That's weird because when I was looking at the headline, I was like, there's no way that this is legit. They're just going to say we're shutting down the program, blah, 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 and then they're just going to use it on the back end for more facial recognition stuff and just change the name. So it's technically shut down because like it doesn't exist anymore, but the same tech is still being used. But apparently, yeah, they're, deleting the facial recognition templates that, gets rid of, the usefulness of the technology, I think. Unless I could be wrong, maybe they hashed it in a way where they can somehow have the machine that learned from what they trained it on to, it could somehow learn from it without the original templates or something. I don't know. Meta Artificial Intelligence VP Jerome Pesenti calls the change part of a, quote, company-wide move to limit the use of facial recognition in our products, end quote. The move follows a lawsuit that accused Facebook's tagging tech of violating Illinois' biometric privacy law, leading to a $650 million settlement in February, or as Mark Zuckerberg calls it, as significant as a parking ticket. Facebook previously restricted facial recognition to an opt-in feature in 2019. Looking ahead, we still see facial recognition technology as a powerful tool, writes Pesenti in a blog post, citing possibilities like face-based identity verification. But the many specific instances where facial recognition can be helpful need to be weighed against growing concerns about the use of this technology as a whole. So basically, he's saying that people are complaining, so we're getting rid of the technology because it makes people uncomfy. Valid. Pacenti notes that regulators haven't settled on comprehensive privacy regulation for facial recognition. Among this ongoing uncertainty, we believe that limiting the use of facial recognition to a narrow set of use cases is appropriate. See, they're still going to do facial recognition stuff. How they're going to do it is going to be very interesting. And I wonder if it'll be as accurate as what they had before, if they can't use the same models, because, you get rid of the data that a lot of the AI and ML is trained on. The dumber it gets. The more data it gets, usually, the smarter it is. So, it'll be interesting to see how they use this. Could they create back up slowly and quietly to be using it in the same way as they were using it like now or using it today or last year? I would not be surprised. And that's good PR, man. To scream and shout that you're getting rid of the technology, you get rid of it, and then you reutilize it when no one's paying attention, that's key. Pacenti says more than 1/3 of Facebook's daily active users had opted into face recognition scanning, and over 1 billion face recognition profiles will be deleted as part of the upcoming change. As part of the change, Facebook's automated alt text systems for blind users will no longer name people when it's analyzing and summarizing media, and it will no longer suggest people to tag in photographs or automatically notify users when they appear in photos and videos posted by others. I think there are going to be some people who are not happy about that, because being automatically tagged, I think generally people would like to know if you're posting pictures with them in them. I'm not a stickler about that sort of thing, but I'm not a stickler about a lot of things that most people are. So, I feel like, it's generally how I roll. Let's see. Facebook's decision won't stop independent companies such as Clearview AI, which built huge image databases by scraping photos from social networks, including Facebook, from using facial recognition algorithms. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. U.S. law enforcement agencies, alongside other government divisions, work with Clearview and other companies for facial recognition-powered surveillance. Hold up. Hey. State or national privacy laws would be needed to restrict the technology's use more broadly. So, in this article, now hold on, I'm gonna finish this. Okay, by shutting down a feature it's used for years, Meta, who you have called Facebook in your headline, is hoping to bolster user confidence in its privacy protections as it prepares a rollout of potentially privacy-compromising virtual and augmented reality technology. The company launched a pair of camera-equipped smart glasses in partnership with Ray-Ban earlier this year. That was interesting. It is gradually launching 3D virtual worlds on its Meta VR headset platform. All these efforts require a level of trust from users and regulators, in giving up Facebook auto-tagging, especially after a legal challenge to the program, is a straightforward way to bolster it. Okay, now, this right here is the most interesting freaking paragraph in this entire article, and here's why. So you're telling me, this article's it's very neutral. It's very neutral. But if we're supposed to come across, from this article saying, hey, good for you, Facebook, you're not storing our faces in your databases anymore. At least as faces. We're still uploading pictures to Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and whatnot all the time. But this article reveals that Clearview AI is being used by the government. So the headline is waving, hey guys, look, Facebook isn't storing your faces anymore, but it's also saying, hey, the government has unfettered access to that same data and uses it much in the same way that Facebook was using it. And yet that's not a cause of alarm. I feel like I would much more trust Facebook with this facial recognition data than the federal government. Personally. And another interesting thing with this too, and this is another reason why this paragraph is interesting. You know, Clearview AI is holding a lot of the same data that Facebook is getting rid of. So, you know what this means, right? 2 months from now, 2 years from now, whenever they want to, Facebook could just be like, hey, we're buying Clearview. And they'll have basically have access to all the same data that they're claiming they're getting rid of now. So this data, right, that Facebook is getting rid of, or Meta is getting rid of, is already owned by private companies. And if Facebook at any time was like, hey, I'm going to buy this company, they can just get the data back whenever they want to. And the government already has this data that they're most likely using for far more nefarious purposes. I feel like, you know, complaining about Facebook is really not, you know, that's, you know, kind of, you know, looking at, you know, some dude doing a headstand over there when you have like a wildfire to your right. I feel like the government having access to this data is a lot worse than Facebook having access to this data. Super FKV, NASA have done that. Super FKV said NASA have done that for over 30 years. I do wish that statement was a little bit more specific, but you know, yes, NASA's been spying on us forever. I think the difference is companies like Facebook, companies like Clearview AI, they're actually competent companies that, you know, can take data, distill it, interpret it in a way that's actionable, and then use that for surveillance. I'm sure that the NSA has their own technologies and stuff that they use, but it's a lot different when you have an AI company doing it because they're just going to be a lot more efficient than the federal government. And, you know, with companies like Clearview AI, you're volunteering to give them, you know, information, I think, because with something like that, I think there are usually agreements that you have to sign and say, okay, I'm fine with, you know, this company having access to this Facebook data, or at least, you know, you make it public. But NASA, they just like go on the internet and scoop as much as they can, at least from what I understand, by actually having the data and interpreting it. A company like Clearview AI is going to be a lot more effective than the NSA would be on their own. If the NSA wants to like go and just scrape the web, that's on them. You know, have fun. I scrape things from the web. I write codes that scrape things from the web. I wrote a code that scrapes Spotify playlist covers from Spotify.com. If something is up on the internet, then you can just go and scrape it. Ain't nobody's gonna stop you from scraping stuff from the internet. But it's way different when you have a different company who scraped that information, distilled it, interpreted it, and then sends that out to other companies. Other companies or the government. Way different. Super FKV, I said NSA equals National Security Agency. Yes, I am familiar with that. I do believe the NSA, yeah, it's been widely known that the NSA spies on people. Hey, by the way, greetings from Denmark. Hey, thanks for tuning in from Denmark. I really appreciate you, you know, watching the stream and staying engaged. I'm almost finished with the stream, but if you go back, I talked about the race that's happening in Virginia. I don't know how much people in Denmark care about, you know, state races, but the interesting thing about that race is, you know, and I'll go and pull up the poll again, but what makes that race interesting is that people are saying, and I don't know if this is entirely accurate, but people are saying that if Glenn Youngkin, who is the Republican, you know, I guess right-wing conservative candidate wins, this is going to be a signal that, you know, there is going to be some sort of red wave with conservative right-wingers, you know, taking back blue states. And earlier on, I said I don't think it's all that accurate because Virginia is not as conservative. It is not as liberal a state as people assume it is, just because liberals have managed to win for the past like 10, 12 years. I think it's just because they've had candidates that are wildly popular, like, President Obama, who swung the state in 2008. So, hey, when you look at the this last election, right, it was really close between Trump and who's the guy? Joe Biden. At least from what I remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering. But in any case, that's all of the articles I have the time to read and go through today. Appreciate all of you viewers. If you want to stay tuned with how things are going whenever I start new streams, sorry, you have two options. If you want to stay, up to date with my streams, you can either subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, or you can go down on the link below and join my Discord. Now, I would rather you guys join my Discord because I announce everything in the Discord. When I'm live, I put the links in. I also ask for feedback. What do you guys want me to talk about? I usually stream Minecraft, but today with the election stuff going on, I didn't have as much time as I would have to usually stream Minecraft. I just figured it'd be fun to talk about politics. I'm a political guy. I'm kind of in a political zone right now just because of, this election. So, join the Discord. You can also join me by voice chat because, I have voice channels for all sorts of different things on this Discord server. There are those options if you want to stay tapped in to the notanewbie network. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this. This is a highly experimental stream. I've never done a stream like this before on YouTube. And it'd be curious to see what you guys think. So leave comments down below or in the Discord chats. Thanks for tuning in.